What it do, ladies and gentlemen?
Stop.
I am making sure that everything is hunky-dory because me and Corin, it was 13 minutes, Corin, and it's now lost in the ether. That's what just happened
Just
again.
add it to our fucking
Endless
sperm
list.
bank of other shit that we've
Sperm
recorded.
So me and Corin just recorded 13 minutes, and something was off with my sound, or something was off with the computer, and it started recording late, and I don't know. It was all
And once
fucked
we
up.
ended it, it gave me a survey I've never seen before. It was like, rate your call.
Oh, the connection thing. It gave you the connection thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I got that like once or twice too.
I hate when the fucking Wi-Fi shows you like full bars, but your Wi-Fi sucks.
Yeah. You know, I have two different internet options here. One of them's like a lower one, but the signal like reaches farther, and the other one's a more powerful internet, but the signal's like stays in a smaller circle, I guess you could say. And like the slower one is just barely even internet. Like I'll go to a website and just sit and be like, "Is this 1997?"
Yeah.
It just takes forever. Yo, back in the day. Go ahead.
What?
I was gonna say back in the day when I used to try to go to porn sites, like when the internet was first around, and like first of all, it was just mostly pictures, obviously. But you go there and you click it, and it would take like fucking 10 minutes to load the picture. Like you get a pixelated titty, and it would just slowly but surely get more clear. But even clear wasn't clear. Clear was like,
we used to have to watch our porn through like the illegal. Well, I had the illegal. Do you ever have the illegal cable box?
yes. But my dad only had the channel, the Spice channel it was, for like 1 year. I think it was channel 86, and then they got rid of it when I was old enough to like give a shit about it. And so every now and then I'd watch the fuzzy porn,
Yeah.
and I'd beat off to like, you would see
Once in a while, you caught a tit or something like that. You're like, oh shit.
once in a while you caught a tit. Once
in a while, you catch the scene where they were like just talking for mad long. You know, they would like build it up, and then eventually, maybe like 45 minutes later, they'd go into the bedroom and be like, I think they might fucking do this.
What is worse than a plot in porn? You know, have you ever seen like the fucking Cinemax porn, like the softcore porn? First of all, I don't know.
Some of them have like storylines where they're actually
with
talking.
the worst actors in the world, and they'll talk like they have
Because those
the
are all
dumbest
people that
plots.
are trying to be superstars. Like they're trying to be movie stars, but they're not good enough, so they just become like.
But has anybody ever been a softcore porn actor and then made it? Like more people have made it from wrestling. Like The Rock made it from wrestling. Like you know, it's a thing. Like that happens.
Just like a nobody.
Yeah.
Like that just got discovered.
But softcore porn, nobody's ever made it from that. And the fake fucking, but not gonna lie, back in the day when you didn't have any other options, yeah, I would have beat off to that shit.
That's right. That was like the day I found out that wrestling was fake was the same reaction I had when I heard they don't actually fuck in pornos, like on TV.
Oh, in softcore porns? Yeah.
I think someone broke that news to me when I was like a senior in high school. It might have been like you or some shit. I was like, nah, what are you talking about? Like,
you knew before then.
I swear to God,
about
I did not.
softcore? About
just
porn?
like I think porn on TV.
Yeah,
And then I started like watching it. Yeah. And I was like,
yeah, they're not, because you never see
really
the
in
dick
there.
actually go in. Yeah, you just see like, oh, they pump. Like, oh, this is so
I wonder if there's a
hot.
rule. Do you think there's like a law against it or something?
No, I don't know, but I think that like there are still channels you can order that you can see penetration.
Yeah, okay.
Like now Brazzers has a channel, and a bunch of them have a channel, and you could order that channel.
I wonder if in the past there was because I remember seeing I think it was a Heineken commercial or Stella or something. And it was like Neil Patrick Harris, and maybe he was just saying this for TV, or maybe there is an actual law. But he was like, I can't actually drink this beer on TV commercial or something because the rule, like blah 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 blah. He's like, so we're gonna cut away to this, and I'm gonna drink this or something. He was like,
maybe for cable or network, there are rules like that. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Do you remember the first time you ever saw like a picture of a naked girl, or no?
I don't know. I don't remember like a specific time. No,
I don't. I obviously don't remember that either. But I think I generally remember like Bobby and some other kids we knew from like middle school. Was this elementary school or middle school? I don't remember. It was either like 5th grade or something like that. But anyway, they were like, they got this porn magazine and they hid it in it's in a shopping center. Like there's a shopping center in Urshel. You would know it if I said it now, but I won't say it just to not get into the specifics. But it was in like this vacant like lot in one of the places.
Would they hit it like it was like some gold treasure? They hit
they hit it.
They gave you coordinates. They're like, dude, if you go
basically,
oh my,
like you walk there,
coordinate,
you got to lift up like a rock or some shit, and then it was under the rock. It was a magazine that was like super dirty, but you would see like you saw like a tit or something, and you lost it. You're like, oh my god, that is so amazing. And I actually,
it used to be such a fucking different time. My bad. Go.
No, it's okay. I was just giving pervy ass stories. Like when there was one time my dad was fucking with me, and I was like a little kid, probably like 5th grade or some shit, maybe a little younger than that. And he was flipping through the channels, and he flipped through the Spice Channel. This is like in the year that he had it, and he's like, "Look," and I look, and I was like, "Oh!" And then he changed it real fast and started laughing at me. And then I went to my room and I had a hard on. I'm like, what is happening? This is like voodoo.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It was like magic. I was like, this is ridiculous.
I used to have to do, not that my parents like gave a shit, but I used to have to do that shit in secrecy. Like you would
me too. Yeah.
I mean, like you would switch to the channel, and then it would be like they would start playing the like boom, boom, like the music. You'd be like, oh, fuck.
You have to mute it.
Yeah, but I sort of wanted to hear a little bit. Like I want to hear what sounds like people are supposed to make.
Yeah, that's true. I've always been like kind of nervous about that too. From years and years of beating off in a house that's not yours with other people nearby. All guys know the feeling of like you gotta keep the volume on like 4.
Yeah,
and then if somebody comes in, you gotta. Like, and back in the day when you had the pixelated shit on TV, when it was fuzzy, like I would also have the remote just ready to change the channel real quick.
Yep.
And you gotta be in a position too where you're like under a blanket or something.
You have an out card.
Yeah, you have to have an out card. Yeah. I don't think I've ever been caught. Have you ever been caught?
No, thank God. That would be fucking weird as fuck.
I know. Like, but there were times when like right when I was done, like right after. Kyle, when I'm not yeah, okay, all right, get the fuck away.
I read an article that like people are trying to like they're like, how much do you push your limits with porn or whatever? And they were saying like people are like watching porn at work now just to like try and see how far they can like push their limits.
Are they really?
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I once watched like driving.
I did too. And
I was like, let me put this shit away.
I did too.
I wasn't texting and driving, just for all the like safe texting and driving people out there. It's watching and driving.
There is something to the thrill of like doing like that's some shit that the fact that we just admitted that is almost like people will go, oh, some people will be like, oh, really? You did that? But that's the part of it that's like the interesting part of it. That's the part of it that makes it worth it in the first place. Is that you're doing something where if somebody finds out, they could be like, oh, that's a little deviant. Like, yeah I know. That's kind of why I did it. Like, yeah, it was on my iPhone, put on some porn, put it in a spot where I could, as I was driving, I was like, looking down and looking back up. Yeah.
And fuck anybody for, like, I've seen some crazy shit people do while they're driving. Like, it's gotten to a point where if I look at someone, they're definitely on their phone, whether it's texting, driving, or some shit. I've seen people put makeup on their fucking face, and I've seen people reading, like they've got the fucking newspaper in their shit, like not at slow speeds, like reading at like a fucking fast speed.
That's out of this world. I don't know how anybody did that.
But they're saying that, I mean, now that they have cars that drive themselves, they're saying that cars are going to be like the next space where you can like get shit done.
No, that's right. And everybody who feels like, well, I wouldn't trust it to a machine. It's actually, well, I'm sure of it that once they get these things right, you will have like almost zero accidents with the machines driving it. Whereas with people, there's 30,000 deaths a year, some crazy number from car accidents.
Yeah, if it knows like the perfect speed to go, you know.
Yeah, like there were already some fuck ups, but that's just because the technology is new, I guess. But like, yeah, once they get the technology right, it will become mainstream. Like I wouldn't be surprised if down the road when we're like old men, they pass a law of like you're not allowed to drive anymore. It's all self-driving cars. You got to get like from here
like
on
manually,
out,
like how it went from like stick shift was in every fucking car to automatic.
Yep.
Now it's going to be like you can't manually drive anymore.
That's right.
Damn, that's crazy to think. You just fucking blew my mind a little bit because that's like the next progression.
Yeah, of course. And I think that actually is going to happen.
Is your car manual drive or is it auto? Is it like drive itself?
And people are going to. I think people will eventually learn to love that. I think I'd love that. You know,
that's so like we just fucking that's crazy. Like kids are not going to know how to like it won't be a driving test anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it'd just be a car.
That's wild.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of shit about the future that's just, you think about it and it's just earth-shattering.
I was listening to Rogan and he was like, do you think there will be a point where technology gets so fucking crazy that it we don't even need us anymore, where it's like technology starts becoming better than us and maybe kills us and does shit on their own.
I don't know, because the thing about that is like, okay, so that's kind of the plot of a lot of sci-fi movies and stuff. And I know somebody who actually works in AI, who's like an AI expert. I happen to know somebody in that field, and they basically say that 95% of those kinds of conversations are just bullshit. Like people talking about AI who don't really know anything about AI, who, it's just kind of like fear-mongering and extrapolation and speculation. But at the same time, I mean, it is true that Stephen Hawking, who's one of the smartest people that ever lived, if not the smartest person that ever lived, he fears that. He says he's afraid of that. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I think that some people say that technology, like the real technology that you just referred to, of like the machines that are so fucking smart and independent that they're gonna come like in the next 10 years or so.
I don't
know if I believe that. Like,
I don't believe 10 years. Well, I know. So someone I heard say, when you're making something, I mean, it's to your control. So it's like you only make it as like strong and tough as you want it to be. But then again, they used like the nuclear bomb or something as an example. And they're like, look at that, like right. That.
The progression from the first like bomb to the nuclear bomb wasn't that long of a time span.
And now that can kill tons of people, and it's like that was something that was made by us.
Are you getting any feedback or no from the mic? Nothing? Okay. Mm-hmm. I hope everybody hears what you hear. We're good with the recording still, but it was weird.
Oh, really?
I was getting the feedback again. I don't know why.
Yeah, with like the nuclear bomb is like we made that, and that's something that can kill a whole shit ton of people.
Yeah. I don't know with AI how far it'll go. I'm just not well versed enough in the topic. I do know that when it comes to replacing jobs, in fact, I have the number right here. I spoke about it on my show, and I actually wanted to talk about it with you too.
Yeah, that's wild.
Listen to this. Robots will take 38% of U.S. jobs by the 2030s. 38%.
I believe it.
By the 2030s. That's like very soon. So that to me is the scariest part of AI, because that's the part that I really do believe in, and I think it's certainly going to happen, and we're right at the doorstep of that. And there you have real societal changing implications. So what do you do when 38% of jobs are replaced? Kind of like that. Okay, well, what do those people do now? Like, you just made it so that so many more people are unemployed, so many more people are in poverty, and you're going to have the wealth go more to the people who own the AI machines that are doing the productivity and doing the work.
Yeah, and we'll be at their mercy.
Exactly. So if you don't, this is, again, what Stephen Hawking spoke about. He said if you don't set up a system where people can mutually benefit from AI and from, this new machine and technology age, well, then you're just sowing the seeds of disaster. But if you were to take it and have some kind of an equitable distribution, I mean, obviously it doesn't need to be perfectly equal, but some sort of equitable distribution, some reasonable distribution of the material well-being, which is a result of this stuff, well, then we can have like a heaven on earth. You know, if we have, if everybody, hey, you have a machine that's assigned to you and the machine does all the work that you would have done back in the day, but now the machine is basically making your paycheck for you, you get the paycheck, the machine keeps working, then people have nothing but leisure time and people can basically pursue whatever they want to pursue. They could pursue whatever creative things they want to pursue or not. And, you know, that's wild to think about. Yeah,
I mean, but it's also wild. A lot of people would lose their jobs and not be able to do that leisurely shit because they wouldn't have the money to, you know, they wouldn't be getting paid.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, and what Stephen Hawking was pointing out is, if you set it up so that, like, okay, that person's fired, but then a machine takes their job and they reap the benefits of that machine, like they're giving that machine.
In theory, that sounds amazing, you know.
Yeah,
but like that's exactly. Like distribution of wealth. Sounds that good too.
There's entrenched interests and corporations that would say, no, we're not doing that, and
no fucking corporation would say you're going to get replaced by a machine who can do your whole job, but we're still going to pay you to just fucking do whatever you want. But
in the long run, the crazy thing is it actually would benefit everybody in society, including the rich, if they weren't so fucking greedy. Because if only the people who own, you know, the means of production, and if only the people who own this AI benefit from it, well, then you're going to have such a ridiculous concentration of wealth in their hands, and everybody else will be so poor that you have no option but to either redistribute it or die, or you try to kill all of them. So, like, there's no way out of that conundrum.
The future doesn't look fucking bright with technology, I'll say that.
Well, forget that. The future doesn't look bright with fucking climate change and nuclear weapons. Like, you brought up nuclear weapons. I mean, we live in a world with Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump and Al-Qaeda and ISIS. And we're going to be like, yeah, nuclear weapons are cool. Like, what? No, we're not smart enough to fucking deal with nuclear weapons.
No.
We're not. And again, with climate change, it's probably the worst of all of them because, like, now it's almost like there's no putting that cat back in the bag, son. What
I don't get is, I mean, I obviously believe in climate change. And, like, I mean, if we do our part here in North America, there's still other places that, like, are just fucking shit show that, like, can contribute and fuck us up even more. You know, it's like we have to get the whole planet on fucking board.
Yeah.
So, like,
well, the problem is, well, yes, that's true, but the problem is, unfortunately, that argument is often used to stifle any change in the right direction. Like, people will say, well, India and China, and they use that as an out, like a get-out-of-jail-free card. Like, even if we do it, India and China are not going to do it. So, like, we might as well fuck up the world also because they're fucking it up. That's basically the argument. But it actually is true that the reason the Paris Agreement was the Paris Agreement and not the Paris Treaty is that the Republicans in Congress rejected it. If the Republicans had accepted it, the Paris Agreement would have become the Paris Treaty, and we would have had worldwide goals that were agreed to for climate change. So, I mean, it really is the case.
What's the Paris Agreement?
So the Paris Agreement is a move made by world governments got together and made a deal on climate change where they said, okay, we're going to limit emissions to this, whatever this low number is, to try to reverse climate change and move in the right direction. It wasn't enough, but it was a start, and it was basically the world coming together saying, okay, we get it, like, the scientists are clear, we need to do something, so let's do it, and let's be serious about it. But the Republicans in Congress were like, yeah, no, we're just not going to do that because we don't believe in it. And as a result, especially under Trump now, what I think is going to happen is they're just going to not do the things that they're supposed to do under the agreement. You know, like, he didn't officially pull out of it, but he said, I'm going to pull out of it. But he doesn't even need to do that. He just needs to not do what he was supposed to do under the agreement. And he rolled back Obama's EPA regulations for coal and pollution. That's a disaster.
You can't even say global warming anymore or something like that?
Well, they don't. If you work in the EPA, and if you work, if you're in a regulatory body, you're not allowed to communicate with members of Congress, and he also doesn't want them tweeting about stuff like that. So, yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's crazy. And also, we spoke about this the other day, but one of the biggest issues really is regulation, because so many people die in the long run. So many people die when you don't regulate properly. So, for example, Trump just did it the other day. He rolled back an Obama-era regulation for this stuff called crystalline silica. And what that is when somebody's like, cutting a countertop for a kitchen, let's say, and it's a granite countertop, it creates a fine dust that's like 100 times smaller than sand. And they breathe that in. And in short term, there's no problem. But that accumulates, and when you're 50 years old, 60 years old, if you've been doing this all the time, you can get a debilitating lung disease. And so there are ways to prevent that. You have to wet the granite before you cut it. You could do that, or use like a wet saw or whatever. You could have these certain air filtration devices set up around you. You could wear certain masks that would fix it. So Obama had rules that said, okay, we need to do this. You need to do this for the companies that are involved in this. Trump comes in and says, no, we're gonna scrap that. So now they said 600 more people will die every year because of that. But that's just one example. There's other, like air pollution. Air pollution is now officially a carcinogen. We learned it causes cancer. As a result of it, millions and millions of people die every year. So when you really look at it, one of the number one causes of death is just shitty regulation. Like not having good regulation for clean air standards, clean water standards and stuff. And that's just shit people take for granted and never talk about and never think about,
Yeah.
Like you just kind of take it for granted, like, oh, okay, the air's kind of clean and the water's kind of clean. But it's like, bitch, it took actually a lot of work to get to this point because industry just ran fucking wild. Look at New York in the Hudson River. They dumped PCBs. I think it was General Electric. They had this factory there. And they had this waste to dispose of. They were like, just dump it in the fucking river. We don't give a shit. So they would dump this toxic chemical in the river. People were getting sick. And then, the government had to step in and go, bitch, we can't let you do that. We're going to fine the fuck out of you unless you dispose of it in a safe way. But this happens all the time, man.
What happened in Flint? And then I saw just on 60 Minutes, I think it was 60 Minutes, there was a guy in Minnesota. He worked at a water plant, and he was like, the water's good right now, and he showed the camera some pipe that the water goes through, and he was like, this is in the worst shape, and he was like, we can't get any subsidies or money from the government or anything like that, and he was saying Trump wouldn't help them.
And meanwhile, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And just the pipe was fucking disgusting, and he was like, it's good right now, but this shit's gonna go.
And meanwhile, they love rebuild. They want to rebuild Afghanistan, but they don't want to rebuild Michigan.
Yeah,
they're bombing in Afghanistan and all that.
I saw your tweet. It's so fucking true. And I don't know, I'm like that as a person too. It's like I'm so quick to help other people and give my time. If somebody is, if they invite me somewhere, I tell my wife, let's go do this, let's go do that. And then occasionally she'll be like, why don't we do something, And it's just you're always so quick to try and fix some other shit.
Yeah.
When there's so much shit going on in your country, where you're it's easier to put your money and all your resources to something else because it's whatever.
Yeah,
but the problem is fucking biggest where you're at,
Yeah, it's not like they don't have problems. Of course they have problems. Everybody knows they have problems. But is it our place to go over there and deal with their shit? And the answer is no. But I mean, then you get into the real reasons why we're probably there. I mean, number one, the military-industrial complex always makes money from war, so they want to be a perpetual war. But furthermore, in Iraq, you have oil that they fucking want. In Afghanistan, you have minerals and you have opium. So
we bombed back. We just bombed Afghanistan again.
Yeah, you didn't see the story. He dropped what's called the mother of all bombs. It's the biggest bomb that they make that's not a nuke. And there's only 600 to 800 ISIS guys in Afghanistan, and they're fighting the Taliban. But he said, yeah, let's get involved and fucking bomb them anyway. Why are you? They're fighting each other. That problem's taking care of itself. The fuck are you getting involved? Why? And the production of the bomb plus the cost of the bomb, it was $314 million. You think Flint could maybe use that money? What a dick, man. It's just stupid.
The news outlets, I think you wrote, were U.S. drops bomb on ISIS, and you're like, how the fuck do you know?
Yeah, that's what they because they just take the Pentagon talking points, and then the Pentagon passed the buck in this one too, because they were like, no, we heard from the Afghanistan military. Yeah, your allies in Afghanistan who are gonna fucking tell you whatever the fuck you want to hear. And I love how the next day they upped it too. Like, we got 36 ISIS people, and the next day they were like, yeah, we got like 90 ISIS people. Like, you're so silly. This is what they did after Trump's first military raid. They were like, successful mission where they got a top ISIS guy. And then a few days later, that guy released a tape. He's like, you didn't get me. I'm right here. And then we learned a few, like a week later, again, we learned, oh shit, he killed an 8-year-old girl. An 8-year-old American girl and 30 civilians. So it's just, this happens all the time, man. It's a man-child who wants to bomb shit. He let the neocons in control now. So we're in for a wild ride, because then not only do they want to stay in Afghanistan, stay in Iraq, they want to do regime change in Syria now, but also they're escalating with North Korea, and the next on the list is Iran. Hear me now, quote me later. 100%.
And have we done anything here? Like, is there anything going on here? Or is everything fucking overseas?
Yeah, right.
Besides play golf here.
Yeah, you would think he would at least get like an infrastructure bill. But no, they didn't even get that yet. So, yeah, no, it's just shitty.
I looked at him. I haven't seen him. I don't know what's going on. I listened to like Jeff Ross once, and he was like, or Howard Stern might have said it, but he like doesn't look healthy. It's just like it can't be good for him.
He's a 70-year-old guy who's overweight. He can't be healthy. Plus all the stress now because of the job, and he never looked healthy.
He actually has to do shit every day and answer questions every day, where in the past he could chill probably a little bit. I mean, now when he plays golf all the time, it's like he's got to answer questions.
Yeah, isn't that funny, the hypocrisy there? Because all he would do is rip Obama for golf, and then now all he does is play golf. Somebody's keeping a tally. Like, Obama, by this point in his presidency, played 0 rounds of golf, and Trump's already had like 16 or some shit. So ridiculous. Let's move on from Trump. People are probably fucking sick of hearing us talk about Trump. So I got I was legally required to put trees on my property.
What?
Okay, so I'm going to agree with Republicans here. So you know how Republicans are like, oh, small government's the way to go. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, yeah, when there's too much regulation and it makes no fucking sense, then I'm going to agree with you. But everybody does. Like, even like Bernie said in town hall when a guy was like, too much red tape. He's like, if there are regulations that are silly, of course you get rid of those regulations. Duh, everybody agrees to that. Mm-hmm. But what happened is, I removed 2 dead trees from my property. Mm-hmm. And then come to find out, they were like, oh, you got to replace the trees with similar trees, and it's mandated by law. And I'm
this is like, who told you this? Like the gardening company?
The government, like regulators, the fucking like building department. So this is like a local government. So, okay, you go and you take care of it. Uh-huh. Anyway, long story short, fucking $2,000 later.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm like, seriously? All this for fucking trees?
I would have just planted some small-ass tree and be like, this will eventually grow into a big-ass tree.
Well, yeah, the smaller the tree, the less expensive. But I think there were certain sizes I had to get and stuff. But I haven't even gotten to the best part of the story. So, you know me. Like, I'm a very rigid kind of dude in my schedule and what I can do and what I have time for and what I want to do. I find out these fucking trees that were planted, you have to water them for like a year straight. And you have to water the fuck out of them just to make sure they survive. So what's inevitably going to happen is I replaced dead trees that are now going to be replaced with dead trees.
Yeah, those shits are dying again.
These are going to die, and there's no doubt about it, because that's how it is. But you want to know a way to feel like an old man real quick? Catch yourself standing outside watering trees. You're like,
yeah, that's just,
wow,
just like...
how far I've fallen from the days of being like a free...
No, you want to hear something worse than that?
What?
Try fucking letting your dogs out the backyard. They fucking shit, do whatever, and then like weekly you go and pick up all their shit.
Oh no.
That's worse than watering a tree.
So
I
let
have
me ask
a handful of fucking shit in my hand for my dog.
So would you if you could
I'd rather water a tree.
No, but keep it real. Would you, if you could go back and say, you know what, if I didn't get the dogs, would you have not gotten the dogs?
No.
You would have gotten them.
They're my wife's dogs, so it's not like I was like, let's go buy a dog. Mm-hmm. So, like, they sort of got handed to me. Mm-hmm. So they're two of them. They're like small dogs. I wouldn't pick up some big shit. Like I can't see myself picking up like a fucking huge turd because some dogs are huge.
Right.
And it's like a mini baby or like a mini sized like kid.
Right.
And they're dropping some big ass like pieces of shit. So
You-
the pieces of shit I'm picking up are like sort of like geese shit.
I hope you didn't do it with your bare hands, did you?
No, of course not.
You get the way you kept describing it. I was like waiting. I was like, I know he's.
I
Gonna
mean, I
throw
put my
in,
hand in the bag and
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, I know he's gonna
point,
throw in a line about a bag or something because there's no way he's just picking up that shit raw.
Some people have like a pooper scooper, but like I literally just go, I pick one, I try and mush the next one with the with the next one. I have like a snowball of shit. Some people get paid, like it's like shoveling a driveway. They get paid to come and pick dogs' shit up. I know a lady who pays someone to go to their house once a week and they go in the backyard and pick up all their shit.
Well, it's misleading as fuck with dogs because like somebody like me, like I go over a friend's house and the friend has a dog and it's like, oh, this thing is so cool and it's so awesome that I could play with this dog and dogs are awesome but then, you know, I don't realize all the shit that goes into having the dog. Like every time I'm not there, okay, they're walking the dog. They got to bathe the dog. They got to bring the dog to the vet. They got to train the dog. They got to do this. They got to do that. So meanwhile, when I show up, all I see is the happy-go-lucky part of the cute little dog wagging its tail and kissing me and shit. But like, no, there's a lot that goes into that. And there's going to be so many days where it's fucking freezing outside and you're tired as fuck after a long day of work and you got to take that dog out to shit and piss and walk a little bit and run around in a circle. And you're like, fuck. Yeah, that's everything, though, you know? I think that's everything in life. Like, people look at you. Yeah. That's why they say the grass is always greener on the other side, because I used to look at my friend's dad and think, like, damn, he's got it made, because, like, we'd go to school, and I was like, fuck school, I don't want to fucking be in school. But then, like, he would pick us up sometimes, and it's like, oh, where were you? It's like, oh, I was just playing golf or some shit. Or, you know, I was just at the bar or something. He owned a bar. Like, oh, I was just at the bar or whatever. And I was like, God, he's so fucking free. Like, I would see this old guy driving, like, oh, you just did, like, whatever you wanted to fucking do. And I didn't fucking, I was at school hating every second of it. But then now I look back at it and I'm like, no, that fucking guy...
Like, was unemployed.
Yeah, like woke up and had bills like a motherfucker and had to, you know, he had to go grocery shopping and had to go to the doctor's appointment and had to do this and his fucking car broke down on Tuesday and had to worry about picking up the kids and he didn't want to fucking pick us up. And like, you know, he worked like, okay, it was his bar that he owned, but when he was there, he had to deal with the fact that the fucking morning worker, you know, didn't show up or another worker is sick and you got to fill in and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, oh, that's just what it is with everything.
Yeah. Like, you know what I thought about the other day was like when we were younger, we'd look up to older kids in high school or whatever and be like, damn, they've got like exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then when you're old enough to realize like what, like we were like, we've experienced all that shit. We're like, those kids were fucking lames, or like...
And they didn't know what the fuck was happening, yeah. You look at them
I was talking to someone, like, I think they owned a bar, and I asked her, like, are there people that come in early and they're drinking or whatever? And she's like, yeah, there's people that come in early. And I remember when I was younger, I would see people at a bar, like, super early in the morning. I wouldn't think much about it. I'd just be like, oh, they're just having a drink. But it's like, those people are having a rough fucking life if they're drinking at, like, 10, 11 in the morning.
Yeah,
that
man.
You realize when you're older.
Yeah. I got a lot of sympathy for those people because, I mean, think about it. What's happening is they're going to a job that they despise, probably leaving a household that they despise. And so they go there in the morning, they take 2 shots of whiskey and chug a beer or some shit, and that's what they need to get the day started. You know, you do that, you hop on the bus, you go to work, and it's like, I fucking needed that shit in order to get through to lunchtime. And that's the thing, man.
Wild.
That's a life of like quiet desperation. That's why you gotta have, like, you gotta give people fucking vacation time, and you gotta give people an education to give them a chance to, you know, find their own path if they can without having a boss and stuff. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough.
But yeah, the people when you're younger that you see doing shit, you're just like, oh, he's got it. Like, he's the coolest guy ever. And then you look back and you're like, that guy was fucking lame.
Yeah, and then you find out people were looking at you thinking you had all your shit figured out when you were like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing?
No one ever has their shit figured out.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, no one ever.
No one ever. Like, everything's always in a constant state of change. Everything's
looking
always
for something else.
Right.
Like what's next?
What's next? Let me fill the hole, fill the time, pick some shit that this will be the thing. This will be the thing. Everybody's always wait till I get to the next thing. That shit will make me happy. Once I do this next thing, oh, that's the shit right there. Then you do that next thing, you're like, fuck, I gotta find some next shit because that shit wasn't the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking sad. Damn, I'm depressing us right now.
No, but I mean, you could be like, that's why you got to just be happy doing whatever the fuck you're doing in that moment. You know, like I came home today, I had a good ass day, and I was like, I had a good ass day today, and it was just it's just Tuesday.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like if people are caught in that rut that we were just describing, where they feel like they're not happy and nothing's enough. Mm-hmm. Well, to me, like the logical response to that is, okay, well then you have to snap that rut. If you're thinking like, I'm trying to find that thing that makes me comfortable or happy or whatever, and you're not finding it, well then it's like, okay, well then why not, if that's not working, then why not consciously try to do the opposite and break that resistance you're feeling? So in other words, why not like go to the gym or set a goal of going to the gym, whatever, 4 times a week or whatever, but when you're there, like really fucking let loose and go to work and break a sweat and really fucking tire yourself out and make yourself feel super uncomfortable and unhappy in that moment when you're at the gym. And then who knows, that maybe later you get that endorphin rush, you get that serotonin rush, and you're like, you know what? The thing I had to do to snap my rut when I was trying to feel happy and comfortable and situated was to do the opposite, was to fucking feel uncomfortable and unhappy and go to work and then come out the other end of it like feeling more relaxed because I was able to break the streak and break a sweat in a way that just got my mind functioning in a new way, got the endorphins going.
Or even when things are going bad, people tend to say like, oh, like it's just like that's just my luck, it's getting worse, and they focus on the little things that are like bad. So if they're like grocery shopping and the line's long, they're like, oh, just part of my, it's just me, it's just bad. Whereas I don't know, I try to focus on things like that are good. When something even little happens, like there's no traffic going home from work, I'm like, fuck yeah, like that was good. And I get home and it's like my show like was on or some shit. I'm like, my show's on, fuck yeah. Like little things that like will try. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Trying to motivate everybody.
One thing I covered on the show the other day was in Silicon Valley, where like these people work ridiculous hours and they're doing the craziest shit. They're involved with the best startups in the world and these big companies, tech companies and stuff. Really smart people. Mm-hmm. But they said like, oh, what they do to keep their mind fresh and to enjoy themselves and to be creative is they literally microdose certain drugs. Like they take 1/10 the dose of LSD or magic mushrooms that would give the person like a trip. Like, you know how when you take a psychedelic drug, you take a trip. Like, okay, you see fucking weird shit and feel all these weird things and stuff. They take 1/10 of the dose that you're supposed to take, and they say it gave them like a fresh mind and made them fucking really figure out problems that they weren't able to figure out before because they were able to think in a new way and they felt really fresh, like a fresh mind. And, that's another thing, man. Like,
isn't it weird, like a job like that can have, like, if you're allowed, which it seems they're allowed to take like a drug to help them perform better, but then in sports or something, you're not allowed to take a drug to help you perform
illegal
better.
Still, technically, but they do it anyway. Yeah, of course it's illegal.
Oh, yeah, because you're doing the drug. Yeah.
And I don't think the companies don't endorse it. It's just they do it because they know, like, this is what's going to get me through the day and make me happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I don't begrudge that. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that if it could actually give you that psychological edge and make you happier, and like, what's the downside? They even say, like, they go through, the people who did it swear by it. They're like, there are no downsides. They say, I come home, I'm able to just go about my life in a normal way, and then I come home and do whatever I got to do, and it makes me, they say it helps them deal with the office asshole. That's what one of the lines in the article was, which I thought was good. So, yeah, man. These are the little tricks, I think, when people are caught in a rut. Everybody's been in a rut from time to time, you know? Mm-hmm. That happens to everybody. I don't give a fuck who you're talking about. Yeah. Even Michael Jordan, you know? I don't know why he came to mind, but, like, even the best at what they do, and, like, that guy at times was fucking miserable, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna be miserable. Speaking of fucking, like, shit, I have to buy a lawnmower this weekend. I gotta start cutting my grass.
Who was cutting it before?
No one. So we just moved into the house, and it's the grass is to a point now where this shit is OD. Where, like, you would always look at the houses growing up and be like, damn, why didn't that person just cut his grass?
That's yours?
Yeah, it's my shit right now.
How high is it on your body?
It's pretty high, and this shit is, like, patchy.
Uh-huh.
I'd never cut grass before. I've lived in an apartment growing up.
Does it get up to your knee or no?
No, I don't know, not up to my knee, but, like, when you step in it, it's up to, like, above your ankle, like, mid. It's diesel.
That's funny.
And I feel bad for the neighbors because I'm on like, they don't know me enough where I'm just like, I don't give a fuck.
I like how you think that if they knew you and they knew you didn't give a fuck, they'd be like, oh, it's okay, he doesn't give a fuck.
That's fine. But there's etiquette when it comes to houses. Where
like, you can't do that. You can't just fucking leave your grass like that.
I know. But I've grown up in an apartment, never fucking cut grass. I've lived in a house where in Rochelle before I fucking moved out here, where we had gardeners. I'd never learned to cut grass, so I don't know what the fuck that's all about. It's like a whole new world.
How long's your driveway too? You have a long driveway or no?
I got a long driveway. I've shoveled and shit like that. Like, I'm pretty handy, but cutting grass is something that, like, I guess a lot of young kids have experienced.
How much land do you have to cut the grass? Like, do you have a lot of grass to cut?
It's a fairly decent backyard. Like, it's enough to be like, I don't want to do that shit.
Are you gonna get? Is it big enough to merit getting one of the riding mowers?
Nah, I don't think so.
No?
Nah.
It's like just falls just below that level,
yeah,
that threshold?
Yeah. And there can't be, like, we're talking about automatic cars and shit like that. There can't be an automatic lawnmower, because if that shit goes loose and, like, someone dies, I don't know. A car's probably...
Yeah, like an AI lawnmower where you press it and it does it. I mean, that should be easy, but nobody's done it.
Well, if you, like, can plug in the coordinates of your backyard and front yard and just let it take over, like, boom, boom.
Does that
boom,
not exist yet? That should exist. That seems like fucking great idea. So how
That's
often
like
are you going to cut the
what the driving
grass?
car would do. It would, like, you plug in the destination you want to go to, and it just figures out how the fuck to get there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
How often are you going to cut your grass?
I mean, I feel like, I don't know, is grass like hair? Is it like, I feel like I get a haircut once a month, you know?
Yeah, I don't know the rule. I feel like people cut grass more often than that, though. I feel like they do it maybe once a week or once every other week.
I hope that shit doesn't grow that fast.
See, you're thinking, man, I'm fucking ahead of everybody on this shit. My laziness, when it comes to my show, I'm the hardest worker in the world. When it comes to anything but my show, I'm the laziest person in the world. So I'm 8 steps ahead of everybody on thinking of your shit like this, like we were talking about with the grass.
Yeah.
I have somebody 2 doors down who does it. Like,
yeah, I got to find, like, a little kid. I'm not trying to pay so much, like, because I can do it and I will do it, I sort of don't want to pay somebody to do it. You know what I'm saying?
That philosophy is going to change in, like, 4 months. You're going to cut the grass, like, 3 or 4 times and be like, that's it. I don't give a fuck. Your wife will be like, no, but, don't. It's just not smart to spend the money on that. You're going to be like, yes, it is.
But at what point do people have to draw the line, like, on, like, all right, I should be doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some shit that I can't do. I can't fucking, like, go on my roof and fix some shit with the chimney and this and that. Like, I'll call somebody for that.
Okay, so this is an argument that I have.
Cutting grass is something that people should be able to fucking do without having to pay a gardener or something.
Well, look, this is an argument I've had. My mom calls me from time to time and yells at me with shit like this, because, again, like I just described, when it comes to my job, I'm the hardest worker in the world for the show, but anything outside of that, and I'm the laziest person in the world. So, she'll say something to me, my mother will say something to me about, your taxes or this or that. And I'm always like, like, autistic screeching, like, get away, because, like, my philosophy is always like, look, man, different things for different people. Like, there's some people who, like, I know a lot of people. Your wife is probably one of them who is just so good at so many different things. Like, she can handle shit in life Like, okay, anything that rolls in, like, oh, you got to worry about this thing with the credit card company and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I got that shit. Just back up. I'm going to take care of it, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people like that. And I am the opposite of that. I'm envious of those people because I'm like, oh, that's your thing. Like, your thing is that you're the multifaceted type of person who can handle all that and roll with the punches and shit. I'm the fucking autistic screeching asshole who's like, leave me alone in the corner of the room with my fucking video game and I'll master that shit. But if you tell me to do any other thing, like, why don't you, just make sure that you get the... Stay away. So, but that's an argument I have because, like, I don't...
But that doesn't make you any, like...
It just means I suck at a lot of other things, but I'm willing to admit that. Not really,
though. It's just
you're not... mean that, but that's okay.
I don't know. I think I'm more... I don't know. I mean, I guess some... Like, there's some... Like, my wife she'll take the manual and, like, read through that shit and be like, okay, point A has to be on point B. It shows right here in the thing. And when I get it, I'm just like, let me just try and fucking...
I'm the same way. I'm the same. I would try to invent... If the wheel didn't exist, I would try to invent it and, like, do it the wrong way 18 times first.
Yeah.
But then eventually when I get it, be like, yeah.
I'd be so fucking happy.
Yeah.
But there's a level to how much I'll do, and that's why with cutting the grass, I'm like, I think that is at my level where I should be doing that.
Yeah.
Getting my oil changed is something that I should.
Get your oil changed.
But I was thinking, I was like, if they're...
That one annoys me the fuck out of me. I get my oil change bin for...
What if there was a site that was like, we'll pick your car up, we'll drive it, like a trustworthy thing. Like, would you do that? I think I might for an oil change because I hate dealing with the people at fucking car shops.
To me, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that it's a thing. That it's like, okay, because I'm running at 1,000 miles an hour 7 days a week for the show. And when it's like, okay, but then on Wednesday, you're going to have to drive 15 minutes to the place and get the thing done and then wait there for an hour and then you got to drive another 15 minutes back. And then, they're going to hit you with some confusing ass fucking thing about, oh, you also needed the thing changed on the rear side of the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Yeah. But that's the thing that bothers me, just the time consuming part of it. Everything else doesn't really bother me is like, I don't mind talking to people or whatever.
Nah, I don't fuck with that.
It's just, I mean, it is. I'd rather fucking not talk to anybody, but I mean, that's fine. The thing that annoys me is just the time-consuming thing of it. That's what I don't get. It's like, and everybody feels this to one extent or another. If you work a full-time job, you felt this, where it's like, so you finally get your day off. Oh, yes, I'm finally fucking off. And then it's like, well, now you got a list of fucking chores you got. You're just fucking working all week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. That's the thing that just feels unfair, which feels like, you know what, maybe we should have like a 4-day work week so that people, on the 5th day, you do all those fucking chores that built up. And then on the 6th and the 7th day, you could rest for like 2 days like a fucking normal human being.
That would be so smart. Like Saturday and Sunday are still your Saturdays and Sundays where you go to your soccer games or whatever you got to do with your kids.
Yeah.
Well, like Wednesday is like get your shit done day.
Right. Like a get your shit done day in the week. Like there's work
days.
A perfect
day.
4 days of the week are a work day, and then there's a get your shit done day, and then there's the 2 rest days. Because when you don't have a get your shit done day and you're working
Sunday
5
turns
days
into that or something.
Exactly, or Saturday, or five days a week. Then you're working, and then on the 6th day you get your shit done, and then on the 7th day you rest for 3.5 minutes
because you're tired from doing all the fucking like shit you had to get done the whole work.
Yep. But you know what? Maybe this is. I feel like this might be like a uniquely American thing though, because there's so many, like a lot of European countries get a lot of time off, so they might feel more relaxed. Like, what the fuck are these Americans talking about? Where they feel like they're running at 1,000 miles an hour all the time. But that's a lifestyle thing that I think they nailed more than we did.
Yeah.
The idea of like, they work few, what is it, 40-hour work week or some shit here, 45 hours.
It's fucking more for people. Like people work.
Oh, I work 60. Way more than that. Yeah, of course. But like 30 hours, 35 hours is some of these other countries. Plus the 6-week vacation time, which we don't have here, yada yada.
Fuck.
So, I've been watching more wrestling recently. Did you used to watch wrestling back in the day?
WWF wrestling?
Yeah, like WWE now it is.
Oh. Yeah, no, WWF used to be my shit back in the day.
Oh, so okay, you did watch.
Yep, I had the video games, all that shit.
Yeah, me too.
I stayed with it until it went to. They had a PlayStation game. They were always. It was just Monday Night Raw was the fucking thing.
You never watched SmackDown?
So it was like Monday Night Raw was like the shit. They didn't even. And then they came out with Thursday night. Was I think
Thursday
SmackDown.
Night SmackDown. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and when they changed Thursday night, I was like, all right, I'll still get down with it. And then it started like I think I outgrew it, but then they started doing like extra shit, and then they stared joining, and there was too much going on. Like once shit starts expanding and there's too much like to fucking pay attention to. Like when it's simple, and when it was Monday, I knew all the wrestlers. Thursday, I was like, all right, I still know all the wrestlers a little bit. Then they started doing weird shit. It was like a fucking like Friday night event. Yeah, Sunday Night Heat, and there's like we're fighting WCW this week. And I was like, nah, fuck that, I'm out. Like.
So wait, so you probably stopped watching around 01 probably, I would bet. Right around there. It was like middle school or beginning of high school?
Yeah, I think so. Middle school. It's like 6th, 7th grade.
Here's what I still don't get to this day. Hulk Hogan.
You don't get him? Why?
No, I didn't. Like, to me, he was like the worst of wrestling. I said it. Yeah, I said it, people. There, I just said it. Here's why. Let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
Because his whole thing was showmanship. There was nothing else there. So everything about Hulk Hogan was the fucking music.
Yeah, I am a real American.
Fight for the rights of every man. Yeah, that's a banging song. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. But like that was all.
He's a goat, man.
But here, let me explain though. That's the thing though. Is okay. So the music drops. He comes out. Hulkamania. But okay, like first of all, the dude has always been old. Even like when he first started wrestling, he had like no fucking hair. It was just the fucking horseshoe long ass hair. And like I get it, his things like Mr. America and yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
But his in-ring ability was abysmal. The motherfucker's finisher is a leg drop. That's some shit that a cruiserweight does in the first 32 seconds of a match. Yeah. He doesn't know how to wrestle. Now, look, I get it. They would say, well, look, back in the day when it started, like, that was what the shit was. You just didn't wrestle.
Yeah, you just kicked your leg, yeah.
Yeah, like, it was more about just the showmanship. But that's the thing that I dislike is that you got to mix, like, The Rock is a great example. He mixed showmanship with some in-ring ability.
Yeah.
So he was, like, charismatic. He was a showman. He played a role really well, but then he also could put on a good-ass match. Stone Cold Steve Austin, similar, although The Rock, I think, was a better wrestler in terms of in-ring ability. Whereas Hulk Hogan, like, and here, I'm going to go further, man, and people might be pissing me. Ric Flair, woo! Like, his whole thing was, woo!
Macho Man was the shit, too. I mean, he was good off the
No, but he was good in ring. Like, he was good. He knew how to wrestle.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And he was good off the ring, too, because he was good
Macho Man. Yeah.
Oh, listen, brother.
So I think what I'm biased against is the people who were so big but sucked in the ring. Like, Ric Flair wasn't good in the ring. Hulk Hogan wasn't good in the ring. Macho Man was good in the ring, so he gets a pass in my mind, and he's a legend. Like, Hulk's still a legend, of course. Doesn't matter that I dislike him or whatever, but I just think he's way overrated. Where a guy like Shawn Michaels is a much bigger legend in my mind because he knew how to wrestle and he played a fucking awesome character.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But, I mean, when it's scripted, they could fucking make you, they could make you good. Like, I think the Hulk Hogan, what did he pick up? Andre the Giant or some shit? Or Andre the Giant?
Yeah, but he, like, refused to lose for so long. And
like, Yokozuna was fucking awesome, but he didn't have any showmanship. The motherfucker didn't even speak.
Yeah, he was.
And that motherfucker wasn't good in the ring either.
That's like another pure role player. Like, okay, your job is the fat sumo guy who's just fat.
So fucking, like, back in the day, they used to be fucked up with, like, just stereotyping shit out of fucking wrestlers.
Oh, fucking of course.
They had, do you remember Tatanka?
Tatanka, yeah. I gotta be honest, though.
Running out and just be like,
okay, but I gotta keep it real with everybody. I kind of miss the days of, like, you could just have, like, a drunk Irish guy, and you could have, like,
they try doing it now, but it's like PG. Like, they'll have an Irish guy, but he's not like his like old school.
That's right. Yeah. No, you're right. That's what happened. Once the Attitude Era went away, that's kind of when I stopped watching because the Attitude Era was the shit.
Dude, they had Yokozuna, fucking Tatanka. You remember Rey Mysterio Jr.?
Oh, of course. He was one of the best wrestlers ever.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
because he's a cruiserweight, and he was the shit.
He was the one. He used to flip off shit, and he was like, I loved him just because he was a good ass. Like, he was athletic.
No, cruiserweights are the most underrated ever because cruiserweights are the ones who really put on a show. If you see somebody do a 450 or a shooting star press, like that's for people who don't know wrestling. 450 is like you flip off the top turnbuckle and you do a front flip and then fall on your stomach on the person. And you do it all in air. So it's like a 1.5 onto the person. A shooting star press is you stand on the turnbuckle looking at the ring and you flip backwards, but you do it while you're moving forwards and you land on them. Like shit like that is the shit. Like that's what made wrestling great. And that led to the thing I really wanted to talk about, which is when I was a kid, me and my friend Will used to do trampoline wrestling. And it was like the best time I ever had in my life, man. To this day, it was the best time I ever had in my life.
Anything's fun on the fucking trampoline.
So what we would do is we would take. He had a camera, one of the old school cameras. It was kind of big, like a whatever second generation camcorder or something. So we would put it on like a table or something, or like a chair, like a ladder. Put it on one of the rungs of the ladder. We'd hit record. We'd start the matches, and we would have matches in the trampoline like we were wrestlers. And so first of all, the tapes still should exist, but we think that somebody threw them out at his place, like by accident.
Oh.
Which would be a fucking national tragedy, because I swear to God...
Yeah, those would be good videos.
If I could fucking find those things and find a way to get them on YouTube, I would put them on YouTube for everybody, just so that they could laugh at me. Because all of us had just bitch-ass voices. Like, we're fucking 6th graders, like, throw them into the turnbuckle, yeah! And the funniest part of all of it was like when you would whip them against the ropes, there were no ropes. So you just throw them to one side and then we run and we start running back. Like there were no ropes there to fucking actually throw us back. So we would just like run and then run back.
Usually the trampolines have that round shit around it where you can sort of, you know what I'm saying? The trampoline, and then there's like the like screened around area.
It wasn't screened in. We didn't have a screened in one. So it was just throw them and then run right back.
That probably would look so weird.
It looked so stupid. But we did listen, man. We did some crazy fucking shit where first of all, it's amazing our parents let us do it, and then like if they had learned about certain things, they wouldn't have let us do it anymore. There's no doubt about it. One time my buddy did a double front flip and nearly broke his fucking neck. Like he did a double front flip, so he went over once and then he was like about to go over again, but his fucking head hit the trampoline, and then his legs went over and touched the trampoline also. So it was like head, body, legs. Ugh. And it looked like he fucking just collapsed. And then I didn't know what the fuck to do. I'm looking at this kid laying there just like, I'm like, just breathe, man, it's all right. Like, I didn't know what the fuck to do. I'm a stupid-ass kid.
I can't watch any of those. Can you watch any of those, like those reckless videos of people trying to do? I can't watch that shit.
There used to be a whole MTV show about it.
Yeah, that was like reckless or
fractured or
with the skateboarder, and he was friends with Rob Dyrdek.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the thing.
Ridiculousness or something.
No, not that. That's the newer one. I'm thinking of back in the day when the whole show was on people breaking limbs and shit.
Oh, really? There was another.
I don't remember the name. People in the comment section. Cracked or fractured or fucking...
Oh, maybe cracked?
I don't remember.
I can't watch any of those videos.
Oh, I can't watch any. Sid Vicious one time, a wrestler, jumped off the turnbuckle and did like a boot to somebody's face.
I can watch
Snapped
those
his leg.
videos.
What can you watch?
I watched that when, I think it was Sid Vicious. And it looked so not real I think that's why I could watch it.
It was real. I can't watch it for that reason because I'm seeing a man's fucking leg totally fracture.
But it was weird in the way because it looked like Jello, like I think he was on so much steroids that his leg just turned into Jello.
That's what a compound fracture looks like, my dude. When you got the bone just snaps, it just totally
Anderson
snaps.
Silver have that. I think he was UFC fighting.
Too?
You ever see that? And he kicked someone. He like shin kicked him, and his leg just fucking like.
I've never seen that. No. I don't want to see it. I never want to see it. My friend's wife is in the medical field, and every time she's like, you want to see this picture I took of this? I'm like, nope. The answer is always no.
People are into weird shit like that. There's on Instagram. I know you're not on Instagram, but there's this his name is like Dr. Pimple Popper or something like that. And he's got like, I've never looked at it because I cannot look at that shit. But some people, is like he's got like a shit ton of followers that watch people just pop pimples in all different types of ways.
They're gross fucking videos of popping whiteheads but blackheads too. The long fucking ugh.
That's all.
I had
yeah,
acne, man. I had acne back in the day. I did, and it was embarrassing as fuck. I went
but
on.
it wasn't, you weren't. It wasn't like OD. It was like just like what a normal like kid goes through.
Nah, it was okay. So first of all, I'm gonna make a few admissions here. I used Accutane, which is like the most powerful.
Yeah, they say that shit can make you like have mood swings like a motherfucker, right?
That's overstated because it was like
So?
0.001% of cases there was like a suicide, but it was such a small percentage that who knows if it was tied to the drug or not.
Yeah,
I
true.
took it. I never had any mood issues. Never had any issues like that whatsoever. And it worked like a motherfucker. It just shrinks your oil glands in your skin. And it works like crazy. So I used that. That was a lifesaver.
That shit used to be on the TV all the time. They would have like every fucking like hot young celebrity be like,
no, that's Proactive. You're thinking Proactive, not
shit.
Accutane. I used Proactive too just because it smelled good. But that was nothing. That was like low-level shit for the acne I was dealing with. Because I had like the sebaceous cyst fucking things.
oh,
Terrible. It's the worst.
yeah.
But... yeah, no, there was a time when, like, when it got bad, I would just put cover up on. I would put cover up on it so that people couldn't see it. I mean, you could still see it if the light was in the right direction or whatever. But that's for a young man in high school. Like that feels embarrassing. You're like, oh, I'm gonna wear fucking like cover up, like fucking makeup on my face right now, and you feel like I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at high school, you don't want that shit showing through, like
Yeah.
high school is a weird time, man. Fucking people make fun of you. People are like, I mean, kids were fucked up back in the day, but kids now are fucked up.
People are always
like
fucked
bullying and just like, I mean, I guess kids are a little better now and like being comfortable in their own skin and shit like that and whatever fucking like macho like those slogans are or whatever.
Yeah.
But back in the day, like, I don't know, kids are fucked up. Like,
yeah, one time I had somebody like was fucking with me and like put lotion on my shirt or some shit at school.
oh really?
It was so embarrassing. Like I was kneeled down and some dude walked by and like sprayed a fucking big ass thing of lotion on the back of my shirt.
Just fucking.
And then the kid, if I say the kid's name, I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to shout him out or anything. But you would know the kid. The dude was fucking huge. Like he looked like he shouldn't even been in high school.
I don't think I've ever had anyone like fuck with me in a I'm picking on you type of way.
That was the only time it happened to me. That and the time I got jumped I spoke about before, but that wasn't picking on me. It was just they out of nowhere they just jumped me. But that was the only time, and it was a fucked up feeling. Like I was like, I think I did. I think I was like a little bitch and ratted the dude out to like a security guard, and I did it like
him.
Yeah, I did it like immediately. But if my point is, if the dude wasn't gigantic and I wasn't a skinny little bitch at the time, I probably would have like stepped up to him and did something.
Yeah,
but he was so big and I was so skinny that I was like, security. And then they didn't do shit. They didn't do shit. I think they knew that dude knew the security guard, and the security guard was like,
yeah,
no, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, this
That's
motherfucker
how it was in high school. Most of the like hood ass kids are just like, if you were cool, you knew the security guards because they like lived where we lived.
Yeah, I knew
so
some of them.
Like,
this one I did not know.
Oh,
but this dude was tight with that security guard, so it just fucked me.
People are fucked up. I think I was out one night. I don't know. Maybe this was like 5 years ago or something. I was at like a club, and I was just like standing there. I was like having a good time, but I wasn't like, I don't know what it was, but I was just standing there, maybe like looking around, but just like, just not having so much fun, but I was having an okay time. I think someone from like far away like threw something at me, and like it was clearly thrown at me.
Right.
And like I like looked, but then I had that same like I don't give a fuck that like this person. So I just stood there as opposed to like who the fuck threw that?
I probably would have fucking done some shit like that, but then regretted it.
Yeah, because I was just like, I don't give a fuck. Like if I ignore this motherfucker, like what people don't understand, if you just ignore the shit out of someone, like even high school kids, like they'll stop.
Yeah, that's actually true. And it's probably true also that usually the kids who are doing the bullying are bullying because like they're fucked up. Like they had a fucked up household or upbringing, or they're like somebody's bullying them or something. So that's like what they do, and that's their outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That there's nothing you could do to stop that. Like, I wish there was a way we could just press a button and make it so nobody bullies anybody anymore. But like, there's always going to be, because people are always going to have. There's always going to be some people that have fucked up childhoods and upbringings, and then they're going to be in school and they're going to see some smaller kid. I got a soft spot, man. Like, when I see something like that happen, or you know what the other thing is, when I see somebody who like is persisting or overcoming, but they have like a disability, I tear up immediately.
I cry for anything, but
Dude,
like that shit help.
That
yeah,
shit makes me
help
tear up immediately. If it's like somebody that has like some sort of issue, but they're overcoming it, and like they're like at a disadvantage for whatever reason, but then they're fighting through, and like I just fucking tear up. Like, you did it, like, you did it. It's all right, man. I love you. I want to give you a hug.
I fucking That shit is definitely like I'll cry. I'll cry at anything, dude.
Yeah,
like
sometimes
fucking
movies get me from time to time.
Not even movies, like TV shows I know are like fake as fuck. If like the guy overcomes something and does what he's supposed to do, I'm just like,
yo,
he'll look over to me, I'm like, oh fuck.
I can't watch like chick flicks anymore, like romance things, because I'll feel it. Like, I'll feel it. Like, I'll be like,
what? You're like connected to the movie?
First of all, it's always the same fucking dumb cycle. It's like guy meets girl. Guy gets girl. Guy loses girl. Guy gets girl back. It's the same thing every time.
Or no, there's like guy with girl, another guy trying to get the same girl, and it's just like they're fucking battling for the girl.
Yeah, that's one of the things too, sure. But like, even though I know what's going to happen, I'm like, it'll get me. Like, if it's done well, and it's done like when she leaves, it's like, no, why are you leaving? It was all a misunderstanding. He doesn't really love that other girl.
You fucking hate love storylines in movies, or is it just certain movies that shouldn't have a love storyline? Because I know we've watched movies and you're like, yeah, they but they threw that love fucking like. There's always, I guess every movie needs an underlying like love.
Yeah, I think those piss me off when it's like they're focusing too much on the love angle of the shit that's like supposed to be a bigger story than the love thing.
Or it gets in the way of like what they're doing.
Yeah, that'll piss me off.
Watch like Denzel do something, but like it's a love scene and you're like, why the fuck, like just be normal and like not worry about that.
That'll piss me off. But I'm talking about the ones that are specifically made for
like cheesy love.
Like I'll get tripped up by them and I'm like, why am I getting tripped up by them? Like, I'll annoy myself. Like, this is bullshit.
I can't fucking watch those movies.
You know what I was thinking of the other day? Did you have Mr. Madison with me?
No, I never had Mr. Madison.
You never had Mr. Madison? Fuck, you would have loved him. But I was thinking about it the other day, and the Louis C.K. stand-up that you said you didn't like reminded me of it. Because there was a line in the Louis C.K. stand-up. So it started out shitty, I thought, but then it got good in the middle, then it got shitty again at the end. But the middle part that was funny was really funny, and there was one part where he was speaking about suicide, and he was like... He's like, it's actually in a weird way like a liberating thought, because there's always this shit. There's always this shit that you got to do in life, and you just keep getting shit you got to do, and you don't want to do it, and you know you'll get something in the mail from the DMV, and it'll be like, you have to show up on Tuesday the 24th in order to do that, and he's like, no, I don't. I could just kill myself. And he's like, that's awesome because that's always an option. He's like, you could just kill yourself. Like you don't have. He said you don't have to do anything. You could just kill yourself. You can get out of everything you have to do for now, or you could just kill yourself. And I was laughing because that's obviously a funny joke, but also Mr. Madison,
did you say the same shit?
Who's something somewhat similar. So he's my he was my business law teacher in high school, and he made the argument of. Because I said to him one time, like, Mr. Madison, I got to do this fucking thing I don't want to do, like some assignment or something. It wasn't for his class, but for something else. And I was just bitching about it. And he's like, no, you don't. He was like this wise, middle-aged black guy. He was like, no, you don't. I'm like, wait, what? Like, oh, here I am, like this high school kid, my mind blown. I'm like, what do you mean? I have to fucking do this. I got to turn it in by this day. He's like, you don't have to do that right there. I'm like, Mr. Madison, what are you saying? He's like, you don't have to do anything. I'm like, what, Mr. Madison, what does that mean? He's like, you don't have to do anything. You could do whatever you want to do, but it doesn't mean there aren't consequences. And I was like...
Fucking deep.
Damn, you just blew my mind, Mr. Madison. And I think so I thought about that a lot that year, and it was like a liberating thought to me, and I had forgotten about it until
I do shit that whole year.
That's probably true. Until I saw that Louis C.K. Special. And then I was like, oh, I'm reminded of that quote now. And again, it still has the same effect on me. I still feel like it's kind of liberating. Because it's like, yeah, nobody has to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You literally don't have to do anything. But there are going to be consequences. Like if you got to fucking whatever, fill in the blank with whatever important thing you got to take care of. Whatever promise you made to whoever to show up wherever. Like, if you don't do it, you're fucking up a relationship or whatever. But, like, you still have that freedom and that option. I don't know. I've always thought that was interesting.
You had one when your car, you had to get your oil changed. I think I was still living in New York, and we were driving somewhere, and your shit was like, every time you stepped on the brakes, your car would be like...
Okay, wait. In my defense, that wasn't my oil. That was my brakes.
Your brakes done.
I needed brake pads. That's what I needed.
Oh, brake pads. But I was like, yo, I think it may be time where you get this shit. And you're like, yeah, I might just wait a little bit more. That shit was bad.
Yeah, that's my go-to move. If it's shit for my car, it just never gets done.
That shit
I've gotten better. I've gotten better. Like, my oil change.
It might be off a little bit.
No.
But everybody's got a threshold, dude. It's like
the best one.
People wait till the last fucking minute to do their shit. Like, I'm not cutting my grass until right now. It's noticeably fucking long.
Okay, no, the best one to this day is, we've told the story before on the podcast, but it's worth mentioning it again. When we went to go play poker in the city.
Yeah.
We went to go play poker. First of all, we drive all the way there, and what happens? I forgot my wallet. Remember that?
Yeah.
So we literally drive all the way back to my place. How long was the drive? 40 minutes?
Yeah, 40, 45 minutes, something like that.
So we drive all the way back to my place, get my wallet. Then... was it in the driveway when I'm getting my wallet at my place that you look at my gas and you're like, yo.
Wasn't I think your gas was on E when we went down there.
From the very beginning, right? The
very beginning, before you forgot your wallet. And you're like, yeah, I'll get gas on the way back. My shit is OD good. Like, it goes at least 50, 100 miles. I was like, all right.
Because whenever my old car, I used to have a Chevy Cavalier back in the day. Whenever it was on E.
Red one, right?
What? The red one.
Red one.
Whenever it was on E, I would have, like, I swear to God, like, half a tank left. It was ridiculous. But yeah, so I was on E from the beginning. Then I went down there. Then we came back because I forgot my wallet. Then we go down there again. And then, this was a night in poker where I lost, like, immediately. Like, I was there sitting down for, like, maybe 10 minutes, and they're just gone. Like, everything, gone. Mm-hmm. So you stayed and played a little bit longer. I was waiting. Then on the way back, we start the car. All my money's gone. I just lost it. Dumbass high school kid playing poker. And then on the ride back, we're on the West Side Highway where there's no
gas stations.
No gas stations. No lane to pull off on the side if something happens.
Yeah, true.
So we're driving. I'm like, yo, when I press the gas, the car barely moves. Like, I press it, and it would be, like, go, like, half of what it should go with the acceleration. I was like, fuck.
And I was not nervous at any point until you were, like, even when you said that the first time, I was like, all right, like.
It'll be all right, yeah.
It'll be okay.
Because you couldn't picture us fucking running out of gas on the West Side Highway.
Yeah, who pictures themselves running out of fucking gas? Like, nobody. It doesn't happen.
Yep.
But then you said it again, you're like, no, dog, like,
we're fucked.
Pushed the shit, and it's just like. And I think I had asked. I was like, no, like, what's it like? Like I pushed the gas, and it's just not like. I was like, fuck, dude. Like, and then it crossed my mind. I was like, we're gonna get stuck on this bitch.
So we somehow, I don't even know how we got out of it, but we pulled off the next exit. We literally asked somebody on the side of the road, like, where's their gas station?
We're like in the middle of Harlem too.
Middle of Harlem or some shit. We somehow got to a gas station, and I think you gave me like $15 or something, and we were able to get back
$5 in or something.
And that was enough. Whatever the fuck it was.
Mad respect to us. I think everyone. Well, mad respect to us on that, but we both drove like a shitty car in high school on some like I don't give a fuck shit. Actually, my car's in high school, all right. It was my car in college. It was a piece of fucking dog shit.
No, dude, I was just talking about this the other day, and here's the bottom line. So if I ever have kids,
Mm-hmm.
they're 100% gonna get
Piece of shit.
not piece of shit cars, but they're not getting good cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna give them fucking I think look, if you spoil the shit out of your kids.
Are you gonna do it just with cars, or like, will you give them a hot cell phone, or are you gonna like a bottom of the line cell phone?
Okay, there's a middle ground, man. Like if you raise them and you're really strict and you really give them nothing,
mm-hmm.
that could make them strive to do really well, or they could just be resentful and they could be like, you didn't have to fucking be a dick, and they could
mm-hmm.
hate you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to raise kids and be super like, you get absolutely nothing. But then on the flip side, you don't want to raise kids and give them fucking everything.
Of course, yeah, no.
Because you could spoil the shit out of them, and then they have a silver spoon in their mouth, and
mm-hmm.
they can just be entitled their whole life and feel like not know that life is real, and you might have all these things, but you could just not have them, and it's a struggle, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So I think the middle ground is, you raise them in a way that's just middle class. So you have rules, but the rules are reasonable. The rules. One of the rules would be, hey, your first car has got to be like a used car,
mm-hmm.
and it'll be, it'll have whatever, some mid-level range miles on it. It'll be safe. It won't be super shitty, but it won't be nice. It'll just be, one of those things. And when it comes to like cell phones and stuff, you got to set like an age. Okay, here's when you get your first cell phone,
mm-hmm.
or
mm-hmm.
like whatever, an iPad, a laptop, and of course in the future. If I ever have kids, by the time I have them, it'll be like, it'll be down the road, and we'll be talking about some other shit, like some hologram shit. Like you get your first hologram machine when you're in whatever grade. But yeah, I think there's a middle ground, and I don't think you shouldn't spoil them, and you shouldn't be too strict. Basically,
yeah. That's
my philosophy.
But it made like high school, like picking up chicks. Like you had at first you had the truck, which was G.
The Chevy Blazer, that's right.
The Blazer, which is the normal color, and then you got the bright red Cavalier, which is like for someone in high school, that's tough. Like you got to pick up chicks in bright red Cavalier now, and like you own that shit, which was like respect.
Yeah, the Chevy Cavalier is not really like a nice. It's a very low end kind of cheap coupe car, but the reason why I liked it is because it was really good on gas.
Yeah.
And I was a fucking high school kid with no money driving the Chevy Blazer. So what had happened was I was driving the Blazer, but it really is expensive. It was expensive to drive it. Mm-hmm. And then my sister was coming back from college, and she needed something to bring all the stuff. And so I was like, look, you want to just switch cars? Because she was driving the Cavalier. I was like, look, I'll drive your car because I wanted to save them money for gas. And I didn't mind. It was a coupe, but I was like, a coupe is better than whatever.
But it never crossed your mind, like, oh, fuck, now I'm going to be driving a Cavalier to high school every day, and, like, I pull up in this shit compared to the truck, which was hot. Like,
the thing is, I wasn't a truck guy. Like, I didn't like trucks. But, yeah, looking back at it, the Chevy Blazer was a lot nicer, without question, than the Cavalier. So, looking back on it, maybe I bite the bullet and pay them more money for the gas if I could afford it.
Yeah.
But the Cavalier, I did get a lot better gas mileage.
Yeah,
and,
I guess I don't know. I guess
and that car's now legendary. The Cavalier.
Oh yeah.
The Cavalier is now legendary.
Yeah, that was the shit.
Yeah, that car should be in a Hall of Fame somewhere. I don't even know what happened.
There should be like a fucking old school car hall.
Dude, I had that car forever.
Yeah.
Because I had it when I was still working at the dealership.
Oh shit! Yeah, I remember that.
So
I remember I would
car
drive by and I would see your fucking red car. I'd be like, oh,
right.
Kyle's there today.
So I had that car forever.
There should be some cars that they're such pieces of shit that they should be fucking in a museum for being like
for lasting as long.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, just lasting so long. Like, and they should do research on those cars. Like that car never really broke down on you or anything, right?
No, but I had I think 88,000 on it, and then it had issues. At around 88,000, it was starting to have issues.
I had a fucking purple Nissan Sentra, and that shit.
Oh, legendary.
The fucking shit, and it was awesome. And
Son, you had like 125,000 on that shit at least.
Yep, and I had it in college, and I was on my I don't give a fuck shit.
No, but you know what? Looking back at it, you made an argument once that I said I didn't agree with at the time. Now I totally agree with it. But it was me, you, and Henry in your car, and you were like, Henry was like, damn, why is this shit so dirty? Like, you had mad shit all over. And you were like, listen, when you have a car like this, a fucking shitty Nissan Sentra with a zillion miles on it, it should be dirty. Like, it's preferable that it's dirty because it's got to, like, it fits the fucking decor of the car. Like, it's supposed to be like this. And Henry,
it's a little weird one. Oh, my bad.
And you said, you're like, yo, Kyle, back me up on this. Like, isn't this shit supposed to be dirty? And I was like, nah, I think Henry's right. Like, this shit should be, like, cleaned up a little bit or whatever. But I was wrong, man. Like, you can't, because you have a clean purple Nissan Sentra from, like, 1991 or whatever with all those miles. Like, people be like, why is this shit clean? Like, this shit you should have, like, some old Gatorade bottles in the back. You should have, like, a raggedy-ass blanket that doesn't even make sense and nobody even knows why it's there, just chilling. You should have a fucking sweatshirt that's still sweaty. Like, you know? Like, that's the whole point of that kind of a car.
Yeah.
And you're probably more likely to get a girl if the shit is dirty, because they'll be like, yeah, that fits with, like, that's his fucking car that he just doesn't give a fuck about.
Yeah. I fucking love that shit. That car ran so good, and then my friend's car died. And he was like, yo, can you give me a boost or whatever with the cables? I was like, I don't really know how to do that shit. I know now you just fucking match the colors up with the colors. But he fucked it up. So he did it and put like the wrong cables on each side. He did that, and ever since he did that, the car was done. Like, it would start weird. Like, it just needed one thing to set it off the wrong way. And it fucking went downhill after that.
Shit.
And to this day, I'm like, dude, you fucked a car up that I could have still been driven to this day and not paying any fucking money for.
Whatever. So what happened with the Explorer, by the way? You never told me.
I brought it back to the dealership, and like, so I'd bought in a Jeep Wrangler, or I've leased from this dealership. It was a two-door one, and they fucked up the whole contract, and like, they had taken my Ford Explorer and said they were selling it. So long story short, they fucked up my contract at this dealership with the two-door, and I was like, then give my fucking Explorer back. And they're like, oh, we already sold it. And I was like, and so they had sold my car before I'd even like finished. Like, I was supposed to do some other shit and bring them back whatever paperwork, or I was supposed to bring them the title. Mm-hmm. And they can't sell the car without the title. Mm-hmm. So they had sold the car without the title, and I was like, well, you sold my fucking car without the title. So they ended up like hooking me up, and I got out of the deal with the two-door and ended up getting a four-door Wrangler, which has been awesome.
Okay, so you've had a four-door Wrangler and you're leasing it?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think of leasing versus buying? You like leasing?
No.
You like buying more?
Yeah, I think because all the other cars I've had in the past have been bought.
Yeah.
And like, you can go on a road trip. You don't have to, like, because I've got I have 12,000 miles or something like that.
Right.
That comes into play, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, like, leasing is good because you get a new car every 2 years. It's like, no, I don't give a shit. I bought this car because I like it. I'm going to ride it until it fucking dies. You know?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I'm not one of those people, I need a new car every 2 years. I need the newest, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm the
that's
same
what leasing
way.
Is, right?
I'll drive my shit into the ground. That's what I'll do.
But that's why people lease, right? Because it's like, oh, in 2 years I can get or 2 or 3, 4 years.
Yeah, people like my mom. My mom likes to do that. My mom likes to lease a car because every 2-3 years she's like, well, I might not want this kind of a car. I might want a smaller one come that point, or I might want a bigger one come this point.
But no other decision can you do that. Like, you can't buy a house for 3 years and be like, oh, that's it.
You can, but that's a bad idea to do like this short-term investments, like the flipping houses. Oof,
yeah.
It's risky. With cars, it's not as risky, but it's just, I like the idea of ownership and possession. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, no, this is mine. I own it. Here's the title, you know. Yeah. Versus, no, this is the banks or the dealerships, but I'm just using it. Man, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But that's just
I remember the first time my dad said he was getting a new car. And, like, my dad would never buy anything, like, fresh. But he made it seem like he got some hot shit. And he pulled up to the house in a fucking gray station wagon. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, you told us you got a new car. And, like, my idea of new car, like, when someone says new car, you think it's going to be some hot shit. Like, a new car.
Yeah.
And he pulled up, and it was a fucking used, like, gray station wagon. And, like, technically, it's a new car because to us, that shit is new.
That's such a dad move.
It was the worst fucking, like...
That's a dad move.
I mean, I grew to love that gray station wagon, but, like, When people tell you some shit, don't trust what the fuck they're saying.
Wait, I got a better one. My dad. Well, this isn't better, but it's on this same thing. My dad, he got something. He got a car, and then when he wanted, like, he didn't want it anymore, but he tried to pawn it off, like, oh, Kyle, you should drive this. and you know what it was? And he tried to sell it hard, like it was the shit. He's
What?
like, Pontiac Vibe.
Oh.
It's like a PT Cruiser, but Pontiac's version or whatever, basically. Like, kind of like that mid shit, like a station wagon.
Yeah. But, like, don't fucking lie to me. Just tell me, just tell me I got to take the vibe.
Just be like, I don't want this shit, so you can have this shit, you know? But I think he ended up driving it still.
Oh, really?
And then he had eventually gotten a pickup truck on eBay.
Pickup truck on eBay?
He bought a car on eBay.
Respect, though, to him, because
that's how you know I'm his son, because I get all my shit without thinking on Amazon. But he got a car. I wouldn't get a car on eBay. He got a car on eBay.
He definitely did that shit before eBay came out with, like, eBay Motors, so he was fucking before the game on, like... He probably got a banging ass deal.
Yeah, but wait, I remember. So he got it, and I remember he was driving. I was sitting in the passenger seat, and everything's going fine. And the first, like, maybe 8 times I was in it, 10 times I was in it, everything was good. And then one time we're driving on the highway, and that shit just bucks. That shit just, like, it's almost like it just boom, 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 boom. Like, we're going fucking 55 or 60, and that shit just boom, 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 boom. And he, like, puts it in fucking neutral and puts it back in gear, and he starts driving. I'm, like, looking at him like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, sometimes that happens with this.
It was normal?
He was acting like that shit was normal. I'm like, it's not normal. Just admit you bought a fucking car off eBay, and that was a mistake.
Isn't it weird that cars fucking, like, weird shit happens like that? So that gray station wagon, to roll down the fucking back window, the driver's side door had to be open. Yeah, think of that shit. So, like, we would have to pull over if I wanted to fucking roll my window down. That shit would have to stay down.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
It's weird shit, man. And that happens to a lot of cars, I think. Like, just, like, random shit. Like, oh, no, you need a... Like, don't touch that. You have to fucking flip this to make that work or whatever.
Isn't it weird how, like, when I was a kid, I used to sometimes go with my dad to the golf course so I could drive the golf cart because I loved driving when I was a kid. And then even, like, when you first start driving a car, you're like, oh, this is great. I'm driving a car. But now I think, like, I don't give
You don't think anything?
fuck.
Yeah.
I don't think anything of driving because we've done it so much for so long that it's like, the mystique never comes back of like, oh, I'm controlling this thing. It's just some shit you got to do to get from point A to point B.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first started driving, I was like, I'll drive anyone, anywhere. And then, like, 2 weeks into it, I was like, I don't want to, like...
2 weeks?
It was like,
it was longer than that, but yeah.
It was something quick where I was just like, I've done enough of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I still prefer... Would you rather drive or be in the passenger seat? I think I prefer driving to being in the passenger seat.
Definitely like driving.
Yeah, if we got to go somewhere, because you're more engaged and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hate backseat drivers. I hate someone just like, yo, watch out. I'm like, motherfucker, I know what the fuck I'm watching the road too. I'm the one controlling this bitch.
I was briefly in Connecticut the other day, and I immediately thought of Mohegan Sun. And which one did we go to more? Mohegan or what was the other one?
Mohegan.
Foxwoods.
Foxwoods
went to Mohegan more.
20 minutes deeper.
Remember when I decided, I was like, bro, I'm going to go there like once a week, and I'm going to play...
We actually did have a strategy like that. Yeah, we were really trying to go once a week.
But it kind of worked.
It did.
So I know. So I did, for people who don't know gambling and stuff, I'm like a fucking crazy person in that I'm really like rigid and organized in how I do my shit. So like I never gamble like like you'd see a dude gambling in Vegas, like just going nuts and shit. Mm-hmm. So I was researching, ways that are like kind of foolproof to make money. And one of the things I found that gives you like the best odds in a casino,
I remember it,
are this thing called the Martingale system.
Yeah.
For what's it called? What's the name of the game again?
Was it blackjack or roulette? No, roulette.
Oh, it's roulette. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
So it's the Martingale system for roulette. So what you do is you bet on black or red. You pick one. So whatever it is at the beginning, you just decide, okay, I'm going to go with black this time. So you put a certain bet down, usually the minimum bet, whatever that might be, on red. Let's say it's whatever, $3. and then if you lose, you double the amount in the bet. Right? Is it lose or win? I forget. I think it's lose.
Yeah, lose. Definitely.
Yeah, if you lose, you double the bet.
So then you put $6.
So then you put 6 down. If you lose that, you put 12 down. Mm-hmm. If you lose that, you put 24 down. And what happens is, so in other words, the only way you lose in the long run is if somehow your black, numbers, which is like half the numbers on the board, if that doesn't come up like 6 times in a row, which is kind of rare. So, and then what happens is, so let's say you win. Let's say I put down 3 and I win. Then you just put 3 down again. And what happens is you chip away, and over time, like you don't make a lot of money, necessarily, but like you'll walk in, let's say with $150 and you'll walk out with 300. Like you just made 150 or some shit. And almost every time we went, I won. I think I only lost once doing martingale system.
Yeah.
But usually what it says about it though, when you read about it, is that like you'll win a lot, but then when you lose really big and you lose like everything. That's what they say. I didn't do it enough where I had the experience of losing everything, but like I probably made like $800 from doing that system. Yeah,
you definitely. I remember a couple points you were like, I got to do my like the big shit.
Yeah, I had to put in like a stack of fucking $300 in chips all on black and just hope that it would do it.
I think that's why you told me that's why they have the table maximum.
That's why they have the limits. Because if you don't have a limit at the roulette table, people could just do the martingale system forever and win.
Yeah.
So the lower the limit, the better for the casino. Isn't that crazy? So it's it was good. It worked out. I made money. And then we never did poker when I went like once a week.
No, we didn't really play poker that much.
We never played poker that much, but poker is still our baby when it comes to gambling.
Yeah, it's weird how, that fad sort of phased out.
I still like it. Really... Like, I'd still play if I could,
Yeah, I would still play, but it's not as popular on, it had a high point on TV.
Oh,
where, like,
2003. I still remember Chris Moneymaker. Chris Moneymaker won the World Series. The reason it got a lot of play was that the NHL was striking. The NHL was on strike, so ESPN decided to play the World Series of Poker. And
is that what it was?
That's what it was. And the ratings were unbelievable because what the fuck else were all these people going to watch? So they decided, let's just watch this. Chris Moneymaker won. His name was perfect. Like that name made it so that it was like, because he's got
they had the right people. Well, they had Helmuth was like the bad guy.
Phil Ivey.
Ivy, yeah.
Of course. So our whole generation was like, everybody in our generation was like, that's our shit now. That like poker's our shit. And that's just what we're gonna play. And we had all these tournaments. I remember I was disinvited from a tournament. Was it you with me? We would go to this tournament.
The one at TP?
No. My lifeguard, his name was Andrew. There was a pool at a place I lived, and it was like a community pool. And the guy's name, his name was Andrew. He was a lifeguard.
Yeah, everyone had it. It would just be like Andrew the lifeguard.
Yeah, Andrew the lifeguard. Everybody knew him. And so he let me, and I thought it was you, but maybe I'm wrong. It may have been my other friend Alex.
Yeah, I don't think I went to.
It might not have been you.
We played in a lot of fucking weird tournaments at bars
But I won twice in a row at a tournament at Andrew the lifeguard's place, and then he was like, he just didn't invite me anymore. He was like, I'm just not going to invite you anymore. Because
you think he thought you were cheating?
No, he didn't think I was cheating, but I won once, and then the next time we played, there were 2 tournaments that time, and I won both those. So I won like 3 times in a row, and he was like, yeah, we're going to disinvite you. And then that happened once
he
with...
specifically said that?
He didn't say it, but he didn't answer my calls, and and that happened once with my other friends, Will and Brian. We went to... they went to a different school, and we went to a tournament that they had, and I had won that one, and then they just fucking disinvited me.
You were good at tournaments.
Tournaments, I was good. Cash games, I sucked. I don't know why. Like, I would always lose in cash games, but I'd always win in tournaments. And
I was all right in
the last time I actually played poker was my birthday, probably when I was like 23, turning 23. I'm 29 now. Or maybe I was turning like 24 or some shit. I went to Foxwoods or Mohegan.
Yeah, you did well in that shit, too.
I won it. Well, technically, I split the pot. It was like it was the first time I'd ever played in a tournament in a casino. And, man, let me tell you something. After I did that tournament, I didn't want to play poker for like a year. Because
Just because it was draining?
Because
or?
it is so draining. You played, we start playing, I don't know what time we started, but let's say for argument's sake it was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You play for like 12 hours.
Yeah, it's long.
And you like one break or some crazy shit, and then we got down to like 7 people and we split the pot.
Yeah.
And I won, and then I haven't played poker since. So
we missed out on a lot of like Friday, Saturday nights because we were just playing poker with like old fucking grimy ass men.
Yeah, when you talk. So me and Corin went to these clubs, and I still don't know to this day if they were real mafia or like fake mafia dudes.
I mean, they were involved in some way.
They were involved in some shit. But we would go, and there'd be like these fucking 80-year-old men with names like Scalabeep. People call him Scalabeep.
Yeah.
And there'd be guys like, the classic guy like who's been smoking since he was a fetus. And he's like, anyway, I'm going to raise over here. And me and Corin would sit there as high school kids and play with them. I would always lose in the cash games, though, at those places. Always.
It's definitely a good fucking experience, like life-wise.
Yeah, no, I liked it because we liked cards, man. We actually enjoyed poker. I still
Isn't
do.
it weird that was like our era? Like, I feel like before us, you remember Pogs?
I do. Yeah.
Pogs were big for like the era before us, and now, you know what's fucking big now?
What?
You ever see people do that, like bottle flipping shit?
No, I haven't seen that.
You've never seen that?
No.
So they put a little bit of amount of water in a water bottle, and they like all the fucking kids.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So it like stays on the table perfectly.
Yeah.
They actually have, I think, like a league for that shit now. Yeah.
That's amazing. I remember
fucking
fads. Talking about fads, I remember yo-yos. I remember Tamagotchis. I remember Pokemon.
Yeah.
I remember all that. There were fads. They were like yo-yos were hot for a while. Like they came back from like 1920 something. All of a sudden yo-yos were hot. I knew how to do the walk the dog and fucking cats in the cradle.
I never learned how to do any of that shit. You ever do lanyards?
I never did, but my sister used to do them, and then she'd give me bracelets, and I'd put the bracelets.
Yeah, I feel like it was maybe more of a girly thing.
Yeah.
I just knew how to do the box one. You would like fold one over, fold the other. One would go over, under, and then you would pull the shit.
There's no way I'd be able to do that because I'm an idiot. I would like forget how to do it after one attempt.
Figure that shit out.
I would fuck that up so hard.
What other fucking fads were there? I mean, chess like sort of was hot for a hot second.
I was in the chess club.
Chess was sort of a shit for like chess was like okay.
In elementary school, I was in the chess club.
Your own briefcase?
No, I didn't have that. No.
Oh, see, I had a little thing. You kept your chessboard. I think it had a clock in it and all the pieces. And it looked like you were holding like a little like long shotgun.
Yeah.
I had that. Was the shit.
I didn't know chess was a fad though because I thought I was just a loser in the chess club.
No, chess was hot for a hot second.
Yeah. That's good. I was the only one who played golf. I was on the golf team, but I was like the only one.
Yeah, but that wasn't like a fad.
It wasn't a fad at all.
One of the fucking things.
Tamagotchis was fucking crazy hot.
Yeah. Tickle Me Elmos were even hot.
Yeah, Furbies. Remember fucking Furbies?
Furbies. You know what was weirdly hot that like my sister like had one of?
What?
But it was like really tough to get.
What?
It was a Rosie O'Donnell stuffed like animal.
What the fuck?
I swear to God, and I think we still have it at my dad's apartment.
Remember Beanie Babies?
Beanie Babies were the shit.
Those were the shit. In fact, I think I even got some of those, like as a dude, and that's kind of creepy.
But they were worth mad fucking money.
I might still have them somewhere too. Like, let me tell you how ridiculous I am. Like my nephew, like I'll give him one toy every now and then from my fucking stash from when I was a kid, but I still got my stash from when I was a kid. But
that shit could probably be worth some fucking cheddar.
You know what? I don't know where it is, but I wish I did. My old wrestling dolls. Remember the stuff?
Those are so awesome.
I know. We used to do wrestling moves on them. You do fucking suplexes and shit and do pile drivers and power bombs.
Ultimate Warrior had like his fucking...
I had an Ultimate Warrior, and I had arms. Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Man.
Remember $1 Million Man? How fucking like arrogant that fuck was?
I love that guy. Ted DiBiase.
And Mr. Perfect? Imagine like you were a WWF wrestler.
He's dead now. Mr.
He's
Perfect.
dead?
Yeah, he's dead.
Imagine they're just like, you're going to be Mr. Perfect. And he's like, all right, what do I do? He's like, you're just perfect.
He was actually a good wrestler, too. Fucking guy died young. So many of the wrestlers died young, man.
He did so much steroids, probably. And
British Bulldog, yeah.
Remember the guy who went psycho on his family?
Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit, yeah. That's
sad. They gave him like a tribute, like day after, and then they're like, we take that back.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't. I don't think they put him in the Hall of Fame for that reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you always say, I mean, does the wrestling have anything? I mean, what he did was fucking terrible. I think he killed his whole
So
family.
the thing
Burned his house down.
you're talking about when we were
With
talking
Ray
about Ray
Rice.
Rice and what happened is New Rochelle High School removed his picture from the Wall of Fame, and I had made the argument at the time like, yeah, but that dude was still a beast on the field. Like he still ran for all those yards and still like was successful on the field. So like to take it down from the Wall of Fame, it didn't add up to me because like, okay, he's still famous and he still did the football shit that you were praising him for. I get that he's a bad dude and he did what he did, but I thought that was like a separate thing. Yeah, I don't know if that argument applies in wrestling, and I don't know if it applies for murder. Like murder's obviously punching somebody and assaulting somebody, especially your wife, domestic violence is hideous. But what did he do? Didn't he like kill his kids and shit too?
I think so. Yeah, I think he either burned his house down or he killed his family or something.
I know
like
he
that.
killed his family and killed him. He killed his wife and killed himself, but I think he killed his kids too.
Yeah,
They said that they did like an autopsy on him, and they said that he had the brain of like an 80-some-odd-year-old guy with dementia or some shit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so he had all these concussions that were undiagnosed throughout his career, and his brain was just mush.
Crazy how that shit happened to Junior Seau. Fucking killed himself.
From football.
Concussions.
That's right. I mean, football, wrestling, all these sports that are contact or somewhat contact, it's like the brain's frail, man. It's a frail thing, you know? Like, there were times I thought about it, like little things that happen where, like, you get punched once or something. It rattles your brain the wrong way and your brain gets inflamed and it's a concussion. And it's like, okay, well, how much long-term damage does that do? It could do some long-term damage. You don't never know.
Yeah, all it takes is, like, banging your head once, like, on the fucking ice or something, like ice skating or playing basketball, banging your head on the floor.
Yeah. That's it. That's all it takes. You could die that way. People have died from getting in a street fight and just falling and cracking their head on the concrete. Damn. That's all. It's really scary when you think of how frail the human body really is.
You know what's also a big thing was, speaking of when you used to fucking do trampoline, well, one, you ever watch, they had, I think on like, I forgot what network had it, but it was basketball on trampolines.
Oh, Slam Ball. I think it was FX. Was it FX?
Yes.
That did that? Or Spike? Yeah. No, Spike TV at the time or some shit.
It was either FX or Spike.
Yeah, and that looked awesome.
It was like half court, half trampoline, and they would like bounce around. Yep. That must have been so bad for their knees.
It must have been. Yeah, it probably was actually. Yeah,
it's like you're going from bouncing to hardwood.
Yeah, that's because you gotta like adjust every time you land. Like, what am I landing on now? But I often thought about like, why didn't anybody try a trampoline wrestling federation in terms of one that's like really funded and like if they set up something the size of a ring? Because I'll tell you, man, we got nuts. Like I told the double front flip story earlier, but there was we did ladder matches, bro. I've flipped off of ladders before onto
the trampoline.
Onto the trampoline. I flipped off of the ladder wasn't on the trampoline. The ladder's next to the trampoline.
Oh.
But you climb the ladder next to the trampoline, and you're up there, like you're pretty high, and you flip off the ladder onto the trampoline. And we did fake blood and everything. We did. It was fucking.
It was big. Like you might have been doing this shit before. Like backyard wrestling is a thing. I think if you like YouTube backyard wrestling,
there's a difference though, because here's my thing on that. Like I was never the biggest fan of the hardcore stuff in wrestling. Like a lot of people love the hardcore stuff. Like, yeah, we're gonna do a match with tacks, and we're gonna get tacks stuck in us, and we're gonna
I don't like that.
I'm gonna hit this guy with a barbed wire bat, and and it's like, nah, but I don't. That's not to me. Like this sounds goofy as fuck, but this is because I did this shit as a kid, and like this is always what it was to me. Like wrestling, obviously WWE wrestling, like that's supposed to be. It's like a mix between fighting and like a weird kind of creative art entertainment thing. So like, I don't like this stuff that's like, yeah, I'm tough. Well, I'm going to hit you in the head with a fucking iron or some shit. It's like, I don't like that. There's no appeal in that to me. You're just being like weird barbarians.
Yeah.
But if you do, like, things I like are really creative, like throwing moves. You know, like if you find a new move, like, I don't know, do a German suplex, but hold their leg a certain way and fucking toss them. Like, yeah, that to me is cool. Like when you do a match like that, or when you do cruiserweight shit, and you could sell a move real well and take a bump real well, or do something that's somewhat high risk, but like jump off something tall, like shit like that. I always like the hardcore wrestling stuff. It just never appealed to me. And there are legends who are hardcore guys, like Mick Foley's a legend and he's a hardcore guy. But that was just never my style that appealed to me.
Yeah, I was never a fan when they started going underneath the ring and like bringing out obscure shit.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, why the fuck is that under the ring?
Yeah, totally. Exactly. Yeah.
You bring out weird shit from under the ring. But I liked Bret Hart used to do the fucking figure 4 leg lock was my shit. And he was the man because he had the sunglasses. Like, he made the Pink look dope.
Yeah, that's true.
And he always looked like he was wearing some Air Jordans.
Manly man Pink, like the confident Pink. Like you couldn't say he was a bitch. He was like, no, he's confident. What do you mean?
Yeah.
That was the old debate. Like, is it confident or is it like feminine to wear pink?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that shit is confident. I got pink shirts. I wear pink from time to time.
Yeah. They had all the hype. You remember Undertaker's guy, Paul Bearer, used to carry his urn around with him?
Yep. That's the other thing about it. Like, for real wrestling fans, an entrance, like a grand entrance, is a big thing. Chris Jericho used to have a badass entrance.
Yeah.
With the break the walls down, and he's standing there with his fucking arms out and shit.
Yeah. Stone Cold. I used
Shawn
to love
Michaels, classic entrance, Shawn Michaels. Undertaker, obviously, with the fucking death bells, and then he appears.
It's like, dong.
Yeah, like that's half the shit. Back in the day, the Brood with Gangrel, he was like a vampire, and he had Edge and Christian in the Brood, and they had the best entrance, man. They had the creepiest music, and then they would come up out of like a fucking fire pit. They'd rise up, and then Gangrel, who looks like a fucking creepy vampire. Like if vampires were real, it would look exactly like fucking Gangrel does. He would drink from a chalice of like fake blood and spit it in the air.
Yeah,
and as a kid, you would just lose your mind. Like, oh, that's the coolest thing ever. I want to be him. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a wrestler. Literally.
Yeah. Those were... Oh. But imagine like the fucking lives they were living.
Oh, no. When you learn about it, you're like, oh, my childhood is ruined. Because, all of them were like... First of all, it's a hard life. Like, you're always on the road. Always. You're never home. So you're always on the road, and you're doing these matches that are like, whatever, 20-minute matches or some shit, 15-minute matches. But, like, you're beating your fucking body up, and they're popping Vicodins, and they're doing steroids, and they're drinking, and they're fucking strange people, and, it's just a rough life, and they're lonely, and there's so many of them. Lex Luger, who is this muscle-bound dude.
Lex Luger. I saw him at a hotel one time.
Pat Robertson's show I saw him on, and he was just fucking deflated. He stopped.
What the hell was he doing on Pat Robertson?
He's all Christian.
Or Robertson. Oh, seriously?
He's all Christian now. So he lost all of his muscles. Now he's like this flabby older dude. And you look at a lot of them. That's what happened to a lot of them, man. It's rough. It's not like you leave the industry and you're good.
Yeah. Ric Flair's actually, I think, still in good shape. He's actually pretty normal-ish.
Ric Flair has looked old since the year 1990. Yeah. He's never not been old. That dude was born with white hair, and he was born with a red face. Like, that's just Ric Flair. That's just who he is. He's still alive and kicking.
Some people
Vince
that don't
McMahon is
age.
like fucking immortal. Vince McMahon's like 70-some-odd years old and still juiced to the tits.
Well, he used to be fucking skinny like a twig, and then like 1 year or one episode, I think he like came back and he was like started doing steroids.
He's on juice like a motherfucker, yeah.
And he was just fucking blowing up, and I was like, God damn, what the fuck?
He's
like,
huge.
He used to be so skinny.
Yep.
And then he started like Shane McMahon started fucking.
Shane McMahon blew up too.
Bigger.
Yep.
Stephanie, like their whole fucking family was in the whole shit.
Stephanie was on steroids?
She probably fucking was. She started dating Triple H.
They're married.
And then he was like going out with China. You know China's dead?
Yes. A lot of them, man. You go through the list of the wrestlers that died. Eddie Guerrero in like 2005 from a heart attack. They just dropped. You can't do steroids for that long and just expect everything to be good.
I think I might go on eBay and try to buy one of those, like see what WWF pillows they still have around.
Oh, I'm going to do that too.
I think they only made they didn't make a whole shit ton.
They didn't.
I think Hulk Hogan had one. Ultimate Warrior had one. Macho Man definitely had one. Like you said, $1 Million Man had one.
You know what I tried to do the other day? I used to have the Road Dogg shirt. First of all, I thought about it the other day. First of all, these colors, I like how I said first of all twice. I'm like Charles Barkley. He'll be on the 8th point. First of all,
listen, man.
listen. First of all, like you already said that 8 times. These are the secular talk colors, the green and the fucking.
Yeah, I was
black.
gonna say it looks like you're wearing like the Jamaican color.
No,
like
this is
a windbreaker.
I'm wearing like the fucking soccer pre-game fucking zip up shit. But so these are the secular talk colors, and I thought about it the other day because I always like these colors, and I was like, why do I like these colors? And come to find out, I think I like it because of Degeneration X.
Oh,
because they had these colors first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think subconsciously, when I came up with the secular talk colors, I was like, I'm going to go with the DX shit. I didn't think it consciously, but I think it was subconscious because it was like the badass fucking mix. And so anyway, I was looking the other day. Back in the day, I used to have a Road Dogg shirt where it was these colors. And I used to love that fucking shirt. I don't know what happened to it. I lost it.
Road Dogg DX?
Road Dogg was in DX, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I lost
like
it.
Michaels. I think Kevin Nash went over there at one point.
Yeah, you're thinking. Yeah, that's like NWO back in the day.
I'm mixing NWO and DX.
But I was looking the other day. I'm like, I want that Road Dogg shirt back, and I'll wear it on air for the show because it's the same colors as the secular talk colors, and it's just the dog that's like the secular talk colors.
Yeah.
And people would think like, is that a secular talk shirt?
I'm thinking now you could probably get a couple DX shirts, and it would look like the...
I looked, and I was only able to find the black ones with the white that says Degeneration X, and I don't want the white one. I want the ones that are my colors, the show colors.
With the green. Oh, they don't have any with the green?
I didn't see any with the green. Maybe they're out there somewhere. Maybe they're. I don't know, but I didn't see them.
That shit is at.
I hope I find them though, because that'd be badass.
That's like my thing now. I was looking on eBay for old champion jerseys, the NBA jerseys.
Yeah.
There were some fucking gems.
You liked the years that I liked, right? Didn't we have similar tastes? And it was 2008. Was it Champion or was it somebody else who did the shiny jerseys that year?
Well, yeah, no, that was that. You're a big fan of those. I was a fan. I mean, I'm a fan of that too. But there was back with the Champion jerseys, like the old school Detroit Pistons had a hot jersey.
Yeah.
There's a shit ton. I mean, even the Magic before they were hot again with the shinies.
The old school
like,
Magic is legendary.
The baby blue.
Yeah,
and they had
you're thinking like the Shaq era Magic, the Tracy McGrady. That's a classic.
Like the Toronto Raptors had a hot shit. The Vancouver Grizzlies. Vancouver had a fucking basketball team.
Somebody had a great tweet the other day that was like America's descent into fascism as told by the Milwaukee Bucks logo. And it started in like early on when it's like a fun-loving looking deer, like a cartoon deer. And then it's crazy because it slowly looks more and more like fucking fierce and fascist. And that tweet was just so on point.
I gotta see that.
Yeah. All right, we gotta run, dude. It's fucking getting late as ball sacks here.
Yeah. Damn, I wish we could get those 13 minutes from the first shit. Those were hot.
Yeah, no, that was a good 13-minute conversation that's lost forever in the ether. Because it only recorded a minute of it, and I don't know why. And by the way, everybody who's listening, I apologize. Because, Corin, you haven't heard it, but every, 10 minutes or so, I'd hear, a little bit of a fuzzy noise.
Oh, really?
So I have no idea if the people are going to hear it in the audience or not. But I know this whole shit was recorded, which is great. But I don't know if they're going to hear the little it was every 10 minutes or so. It shouldn't be too much of a bother, but I don't know what it was. Is your cell phone, by your mic or no?
Oh, it is, yeah. I mean, it's on the side. But it's been on the side. Every episode
it's been that close?
Yeah.
Because for me, well, then it wouldn't make sense. You're right, because we never had that issue before, and if it was in the same place. For me, I always keep it far away. But I didn't know if it was on my side or your side. I mean, I guess it was on my side because I'm the only one hearing it. But I don't know what the fuck could have caused it. Or maybe I'm just bugging and the audience won't hear it at all. So who knows?
Maybe. I don't know.
Whatever. All right, love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.